So today I am going to read this book, which is Prophet by Khalil Gibran, and I recently started reading because I am very bad at it actually. So I read this much a book till now because I'm reading again and again to the same chapter because I have little difficulty understanding things also. So I read a chapter twice to get better knowledge. I hope you are getting my point. So today I'm reading law. So let's see what prophet is saying about law. Okay. So then a lawyer said, "But what of our laws, master?" And he answered, "You delight in laying down laws, yet you delight more in breaking them, like children playing by the ocean, who build sand tower with consistency and then destroy them with laughter. But while you build your sand tower, the ocean brings more sand to the shore. And when you destroy them, the ocean laughs with you. Verily, the ocean laughs always with the innocent. But what of those to whom life is not an ocean and man made laws are not sand towers? But to whom life is a rock and the law a chisel with which they would carve it in their own likeness? What of the cripple who hates dances? What of the ox who loves his yoke and deemed the elk and deer of the forest strays and vigilant things? What of the old serpent who cannot shed his skin and calls all other naked and shameless? And of him who comes early to the wedding feast and when overfed and tried goes his way saying that all feasts are violating and all features lawbreakers. What shall I say of those save that they too stand in the sunlight but with their backs of the sun? They see only their shadow, and their shadows are their laws. And what is the sun to them but a caster of shadow? And what is it to knowledge the laws but stoop down and trace his shadow upon the earth? But you know how walk facing the sun, what images draw on the earth can hold you. You who travel with the wind, what weather vane shall direct your course? What man's law shall bind you if you break your yoke, but unto on man's prison door? What law shall you fear if you dance with stumble against no man's iron chains? And who is he that shall bring you to judgment of your tear of your garment? You leave it in on man's path. People of Orpheus, you can muffle the drum and you can loosen the strings of the lyre, but who shall command the skylark not to sing? Freedom. And an orator said, "Speak to us of freedom." And he answered, and he answered, "At the city gate and by your field's fireside, I have seen your prostrate yourself and worship your own freedom, even as slaves humble themselves before a tyrant and praise him through he slays them. Ay, in the grove of the temple and in the shadow of the citadel, I have seen the freest among you wear their freedom as a yoke and a handcuff. And my heart bleed within him. For you can only be free when even the desire of seeking freedom become a harness to you, and when you cease to speak of freedom as a goal and a fulfillment. You shall be free indeed when your days are not without a care, nor your night without a want and a grief, but rather when these things griddle your life and yet you rise above them naked and unbound. And how shall you rise beyond your days and night unless you break the chains with which you at the dawn of the understanding have fastened around your noon hours? In truth, that which you call freedom is the strongest of these chains. Through it links glitters in the sun and glazed your eyes. And what is it but fragment of your own self you would discard that you may become free? If it is an unjust law, you would abolish. That law was written with your own hands upon your own forehead. You cannot erase it by burning your law book, nor by washing the foreheads of your judge. Through you pour the sea. unto them. And if it is a despot you would dethron, see first that his throne erected within you is destroyed. For how can a tyrant rule the free and the proud? But for a tyranny is their own freedom and a shame in their own pride. And if it is a care you would cast off, that care has been chosen by you rather than imposed upon you. And if it is a fear you would dispel the seat, and the fear is in you, it is in your heart and not in the hands of the fearer. Verily, all things move within you, being in constant self embraced, the desire and the dreaded, the repugnant and the cherished, the pursued and that which you would escape. These things moves within you as light and shadow in Paris the cling. And when the shadow fades and is no more the light, that lighters becomes a shadow to become to another light. And thus your freedom, when it lose its fetters, become itself the fetters of a greater freedom. Okay, so I read two chapters today, which is law and I guess wait, crime and punishment and laws. I completed two chapter and then one is freedom three. So I have read this much of book till now. This much is left, and I have three more books in my bag. After completing this, I will head to that book also, and I will definitely going to read this for you guys. If you haven't read these books yet, and if you don't want to read, like you don't get time to read, but you get time for your social media and social platform, so you can join my live, or you can see my other videos if you want to listen what this book holds. Okay, so this is for today, and I hope you enjoyed my reading. Thank you, and please subscribe. Love you.